How's it going? I'm Ryan. Today, I'm going to go over the three trades I took on MNQ. All three ended up being winners. Had a decent winning day today. We'll take a look at the daily and hourly chart and what I was looking for, and then we'll jump into the trades that I took. So we'll go over ES today because I didn't trade ES. NQ's kind of just been more friendly to me. So let's take a look. So first things first, in the pre-market, we had a big strong bounce off of this 19,913 area, an area that you can see that we've had a lot of daily wicks into this area and pushing up from there. So no surprise there. Basically coming into the day, we're watching for bounces down here, rejections up here potentially. We have yesterday's high and low. We have pre-market high or pre-market low, excuse me. And then that all-time high up there. We did make our way up into this next zone, so it was pretty nice move. But yeah, it was pretty basic. Like I said, we take a look. This is in the pre-market. We got that bounce off this zone pretty much perfectly. We're watching for bounces down here, potential rejections around like yesterday's high / this zone up in here, and that's really it. But we got a nice strong day today. So let's take a look. All right, so coming in, like I said, we got a strong bounce in the pre-market. We opened up pretty bullish. First candle we printed was a hammer, right? We tried to pull down, got a hammer, and then just ripped from there. We're kind of in the middle of that zone, right? If I go back and I pull up the hourly, like I said, I want to see like price action up in here. I want to see price action down here. If you look at where we're at, we're just right in the middle of this area, so I wasn't too interested. The first trade that I took was a short position right here on this candle. So the reason why I did is because we were getting close to that yesterday's high. If I was looking at the area that we're in, we have from yesterday's price action, we have it's pretty evident, but we have kind of like this area up in here with yesterday's high that we were rejecting off of, right? Strong reaction here, strong reaction here. We come up, we get a little bit of a pullback, but we had a pretty vertical move coming into this area. We got this nice candle here, pretty indicative of at least a pullback, and I believe it's called the Hanging Man candle, but it's a very typical candle to look for a reversal to the downside. I didn't catch any of this move, however, but when we came back up, we started wicking pretty much exactly off that previous high. So let's take a look at that in a smaller time frame. I want to delete this zone because that's not really relevant anymore. But this is what it looked like on a lower time frame, right? We have this move up, we get a move down, and then we kind of started moving sideways. And as we came up to test this previous high, so here's high a day at this moment, we came up and we tested it, and we wicked right off. I yesterday had mentioned how I'm starting to use the cumulative delta. One of the things I'm watching for is where you get an engulfing candle, whether it's bullish or bearish on price action, but you get the opposite in cumulative delta, showing that there's kind of a bigger market maker, somebody with big size causing that price action that doesn't really add up with the delta. So I entered here when we got that rejection off the current high a day, and then the delta was showing that we had an engulfing candle, but the delta was really small. So we got to move down. I'll be honest, I didn't have a ton of faith in this because we were still trending up, right? We're still pretty strong, and we'd already kind of gotten a rejection off this area here. So the retest, that's just saying that when we started to move down, we started to get into profit. I just brought my stop loss essentially to break even. It was like 2 points or something above break even. And that was just because I wanted to minimize risk. I didn't feel like we were going to get some huge move to the downside necessarily. I was just looking for a 15-point move. So if I look at where, we entered somewhere in this candle. Maybe it was after that. No, I think it was after this printed. I think I entered somewhere in here. But regardless, I was just looking for a little scalp to the downside, but immediately brought my take, or excuse me, my stop loss into just slightly into profit. You see that we pushed up, and that stopped me out immediately. So that was like a $20 gain. Like I said, essentially break even at this point, especially trading NQ. $20, that's not much if you're trading multiple NQ or MNQ contracts. So this is the first trade. It was real quick. It was kind of counter to the trend, which I didn't necessarily like, and it wasn't really at a level that I had. So this was just a quick one. Like I said, I wasn't super confident in it, and it was a good decision to bring that stop loss down a little bit. I was just looking for a quick scalp, seeing maybe if we could get a little double top and make a move down. My second trade. So from there, we came up, we broke above yesterday's high day. And we started kind of chopping around. But one thing I was watching is it looked like we were forming a bit of a bull flag. So we were pretty strong on the day. We made that huge move up. And then if I draw this out, you can see we made this big move up. We have a classic bull flag. You can see that on a lower time frame as well. If I zoom in down here, right, we have this big move up, and then we start kind of bouncing in this channel. We got a breakout. So we got a breakout on both the lower time frame and this higher time frame, even though the candle close was pretty wicked, right? We got that breakout and then pulled right back down. Regardless, I entered on the retest. So I entered somewhere in here when we got that retest. My stop loss was just below these candles here. I think my stop loss was like right here, which means I got narrowly avoided getting stopped out by like 1 point. So nearly got stopped out. I expected, with how much bullish momentum that we had coming up in to this bull flag, that once we got a breakout that we'd see, at least a return to high a day. And that's kind of what I was shooting for. I had my profit target a little bit below high a day. I never want to put it like exactly at a level, because sometimes you'll just get, it will, wick right off it and you won't get filled. So I usually like to put my take profit maybe like just slightly below where I think it's going to go, just to be safe. And that was about a 30-point move is what I was looking at. From my entry to my take profit was about 30 points. And my stop loss was just below these wicks here. How did I determine that? I just determined based off my entry what was a comfortable amount of loss I was willing to take. My stop loss was about like 10 points or so. And then I was going off these lower time frame kind of support levels, right? You see we have some support in here, we have some support in here, and support in here. So I just put it a little bit below that to give it a little room to run, but keep it within my my risk tolerance. And then with my profit target of around 30 points, I think it was like 28, it was just below 30. It gave me a nice, almost 3-to-1 risk to reward ratio. We did get this little pump here. We got a nice move, and you see that on a higher time frame, right? That nice bullish candle. We came up into this area, and my take profit was like right up in here, and we just missed it by a few points. So as we started pulling back, I just I hit this trusty button, just market sold, got out of my position. I had 5 contracts. And I had a 20-point move. So I was trying to get about 30. Didn't quite get there. Once it started pulling back, I exited about a 20-point gain. I'm happy with that. I'll take a 20-point gain any day of the week. So that was my second trade, and that's where I made the bulk of my money there. It was a little tricky, though, right? It was a little tricky. We had so much momentum coming up, and then forming kind of this bull flag and getting a breakout. I thought that we would get a little bit more carry through, but you see that we did push up and then pull right back down. We got that breakout and then sold right off. So I was pretty happy with my decision to exit, even though we didn't quite hit my take profit. Regardless, I had moved my stop loss into profit at this point. So this would have stopped me out for a small profit, maybe like 10 points. But nonetheless, I got that 20-point move there. From there, we kind of were a little tricky, right? A lot more horizontal price action, kind of just chopping around, not really making new highs, not really making a bunch of new lows. We had that strong move up, like I said, and then we just started chopping around. Didn't want anything to do with any of this. Like I said, it's kind of in the middle of this range. If you look at the hourly chart, we're like in here-ish. I was looking for more stuff at my zones. I'm trying to take higher probability trades. So although this was at essentially like resistance, and you see the reaction that price got off of this area, I felt confident taking that long because of the strength that we had and the bull flag breakout. That's just, break and retest is something that I'll take. So maybe a little dicey knowing that we have that resistance there, but just based on the strong reaction that we had ever since the pre-market, I felt like it was a decent move. My third and final trade was a short right here. So we had broken above high a day, set a new high finally. And then I was watching both ES and NQ. ES was looking a little weak at the time. NQ was looking a little weak at the time, right? We made this move up, but then we started to pull back. I entered on I entered on this candle here. So we came up and we started to sell off. When we came up and retested, I'd entered just 2 contracts. You can see I had 2 contracts. So I sized down for this one because I was already in profit on the day. But essentially what I was looking at is this previous high, right? This is the previous high. We broke above it. And then we broke below it and we came up to retest, and I entered just a small short position. Like I said, I only took 2 contracts. This wasn't something that I was going to fully size up. Also was positive on the day, so I didn't want to give that back necessarily by taking a little bit of a riskier trade. But I liked it because we were in this zone that we had resistance. I saw that we were getting some reactions out of it prior, and then just saw some weakness on both time frames there. So that's what I was looking for, and it was just a 10-point scalp. It was nothing crazy. Like I said, I had put in my sell order. My stop loss was pretty much at high a day, so if we came up and broke the high, then that would have stopped me out. But take profit was at the bottom of this candle wick right here, and you see we came down and stopped or hit my take profit. So that was about a 1-to-1, a little over 1-to-1. My stop loss was 8 points. My take profit was 10. I usually would go for that 15, and you can see had I put that there, we did pull back quite a bit. So my entry was somewhere in here, and we did get nearly like a 40-point move out of that. So maybe I sold a little too early. We did get that nice pullback. It would have been a decent win had I held a little longer, but nonetheless, I was happy with it. At this point, I just kind of walked away. It's getting a little choppy, as you can see. Just big price swings, but not a ton of like continuity, I guess, right? We had this nice uptrend. That was really nice. But then we just started chopping around, like big swings to the upside, followed by immediate swing to the downside. Even here, we break high, swing down, push up, swing down, push up. And so, yeah, I stepped away. I was happy with the day. I had a couple wins. Didn't want to keep testing my luck there. So there were some nice moves. This retest here and here. I mean, here specifically of yesterday's high and forming those hammers there, absolutely beautiful. We get that huge run up off that, and not quite at all-time highs, but we're pushing up into this next zone. So there's, we finally got out of this range down here at least, and we'll see where we set up for tomorrow. But we're at kind of a big area of resistance up here, so we'll see if we can break through it or see if we have some struggles. But those are the 3 quick trades I had. First and second were first and third were kind of just scalps. The second trade was the real one that made me the money. But that's all I got for you. Thank you for watching. I do trade live Monday through Friday, so if you feel so inclined, stop by. I would love to have you in the stream. And I hope you have a great rest of the day. Peace.